Hey, welcome back. We're not in court this week because this is we of course are off Good Friday, and this is the week of Easter, and I hope you'll have a little bit of time to spend with your family and friends on this really important Easter weekend. So with that, the courts, at least here, we don't have any trials or pleas, anything coming up this week. In fact, we're going to be off until April 13th. So what we try to do is 2 judges, 1 plea judge and 1 trial judge, and then follow that with a plea judge and a trial judge. So it'll be 2 weeks back to back, and then have a couple of weeks to get ready for April. So there'll be a lot of work going on, but it just won't be in court. But last week was a really big week with pleas and trials. We started on Tuesday with a murder trial, and picked the jury on Monday, did pre-trial hearings Monday afternoon and some Tuesday, and then we started in full Tuesday. By Thursday, we had a verdict. This was a Myrtle Beach case from 2022, and LaShawn Jarrett, 41, of Monroe, North Carolina, up near Charlotte. It appears that he and his girlfriend were here at the beach. There must have been some sort of an argument in the parking lot. Now, Jarrett had another wife or girlfriend that lived in North Carolina, and I'm sure this argument in Myrtle Beach had to do with that, but we never really got the full details of why he chose to shoot his girlfriend in that parking lot in Myrtle Beach. But it was a situation where it was a contact wound, and the same gun was used multiple times, and it looked like it was going to be domestic murder / suicide. And Jarrett shot himself, but he killed his girlfriend, but he was unable to kill himself. And then he got, for his troubles, life imprisonment without possibility of parole. There's been quite a bit about that. I say it all the time. Regardless of what you see in the comments, life means life. That means that you will spend the rest of your life in prison, and then when you die, they will take you out and bury you. There was a good bit of comments about why not the death penalty. Not every murder is death penalty eligible. It's got to be not only murder, but then it's got to have a qualifier, like you killed a child or you killed a police officer. That's known as a status offense. Or you killed a person in such a way that many other people could have been harmed, like you're shooting across Highway 501. That could be, or it could be for an armed robbery. But not all murders qualify as death penalty cases. And it also has to do with what is this person's prior record. And Jarrett really didn't have any sort of prior record, so it wasn't death penalty eligible. The most he could have gotten was life, and that's what he got at the end of a 2 or 3 day trial. But life imprisonment for LaShawn Jarrett. Then we had Kevin Berry, who was 47. He was scheduled for trial here in April, but he ended up pleading guilty off the trial roster and pled to possession with intent to distribute meth and possession with intent to distribute fentanyl, and he received 10 years for those charges. They will run concurrently. Those were handled by David Beamer in our office, and the defense attorney, and of course on those drug charges, they're all structured. Like first offense, it's 0 to 15. You could get time served all the way to 15 years. Second, and then third offense, there are mandatory minimums on it. So that's why a lot of times you see these 10 years. even on a guilty plea. Our goal is to take bad people off the streets and drive up the price of fentanyl and meth and all of these illicit drugs, because all of the bad guys are now serving 10, 12, 15 years in prison. And that's what we try to do. And then, of course, there are sometimes, like many of you catch, that the person will end up working with law enforcement, not necessarily with us, but with law enforcement, to get other people and to cast a wider net. So that happens too, and that is one way that instead of them getting 10 or 15 or 20 years, they may get 7 or 8 years. Everybody's going to prison, but if they work with the police, they may get something much less than what they would have, depending on what work they do and what work they're able to do. Then the police would come back to us and say, hey, let me tell you what John did. He did buys in this case, this case, and this case. And maybe it's 10 cases, and he'll get the benefit for that. But that wasn't the case here. In this case, he pled guilty off the trial roster and got 10 years. Dean Ramsey, 48, of Murrells Inlet, pled guilty to criminal sexual conduct with a minor. That is statutory rape. In those cases, it's really based upon the age of the child. That's what causes the different layering effects of criminal sexual conduct with a child. And Ramsey got 12 years in prison for that. That was for what we commonly refer to as statutory rape. When he finishes his 12-year sentence, he will have to wear an ankle monitor and register as a sex offender. So if you're ever wondering how do people get on the sheriff's website, where you can go, especially around Halloween, and look to see, is this a sex offender living in this house? That is how you get on there. It's by a trial or a plea, or you've moved into this state from another state where you've had a trial or a plea. So that's another way to get on there. But 12 years on that charge. And then Justin Christopher Robinson, 37, of Conway, he pled guilty to distribution, second offense, distribution of meth, and possession with intent to distribute crack, and that was also a second offense. He also had a pistol, and he shouldn't have had that because he had a record that would prohibit him from having a pistol. So the judge in that case, Judge Culbertson, gave him 10 years, and all of those will run concurrent. He's 37. That'll put him about to 47 when he gets out, and we'll see, how those work. Those charges arose out of several different incidences, and this is just one more way to show you that the police work together. Like, this was a Horry County case, this was a Conway case, and SLED. But also in this case, which is a little bit unusual, we had the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. So state and federal, local and state, just a lot of effort that went inside this to get Mr. Robinson convicted on that 10-year sentence. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you after Easter.